Howdy guys, Jimmy Song here. In this video, I'm going to talk about ICOs and how they're a broken business model. Now, I have to confess, first of all, that this video is probably like 3 years overdue. I wish I could have made this way back then, and hopefully it could have gone viral and people could have figured out, why ICOs were bad from the beginning. Unfortunately, the last 3 years happened, and a lot of people are sitting on bags that aren't really worth very much. So let's talk about ICOs though, and why they're a really bad idea. First of all, ICOs are collecting money for some sort of utility token. I won't talk about security tokens right now. I'm just talking about the utility token. Usually those tokens are worth they can be redeemed for some good or service. Oftentimes very trivial, not really worth anything, or very abstract, or something like that. The right to trade something or whatever, stuff that in a normal app, that's on like Android or iPad or something like that, is usually kind of free or very, very cheap, or some percentage of the transaction that you perform on there at the most. And that's usually the utility token model, right? And essentially what an ICO does is they sell you that utility token for some amount of money. Now, it's supposedly based on the future utility of that token, but in practice, it's not at all. It's just based on speculation of whether or not other people will buy this coin. And for a while, that's how it worked. You bought it, and then when it went to some exchange, then it doubled or tripled in price. You sold it, and then you got out. And a lot of people made a good deal of money. Of course, a lot of people also lost a good deal of money doing that. But it was more a speculative asset rather than a utility token. Now, the thing that's really broken about that is that you're selling the utility before the functionality is built. And oftentimes this is done with just like a white paper. Tron famously just, cribbed some pages from another white paper and raised like billions of dollars or something like that. But essentially, the utility is created later, and the token is sold first. This is like selling seats to a restaurant or reservations to a restaurant before you know the menu, before you know the location, before you know even what type of cuisine it's going to be or how many seats there are going to be in the restaurant. It's all just sort of all speculative, right? And that's why it's a broken business model, because you have no ability to sell more of it later, right? Even with a restaurant where you sell the seats beforehand, like you can presumably keep selling that later on, or keep some back or something like that. With an ICO, it doesn't work at all, right? Like you sell all of it at first, and more than that, you're like sort of locked into a business model. And this is a brand new economy that they're building. Anyone that's run a startup knows that you have to try several times before you get the business model right, and like the incentive system right, so that people buy what they need. Finding a product market fit is very hard. All of that is locked in from day one. Why? Because of the utility token that you sold. It promises a particular type of utility, so you have to build that particular utility, and you have no real ability to pivot or tweak or whatever, because that's the utility token that you sold. And furthermore, it's broken because you're essentially, if you look at the terms of these token sales, you don't get any rights. Right? Like you don't get any equity. This is almost all of them say these are worth nothing, and that like essentially you're buying something that's worth that has no rights to anything. And that's like really scary as an investor, because essentially it's going to be a game of hot potato. Whoever has it last gets burned. So for those reasons, it's a really broken model, and I wish people knew about this. I think people are waking up to this now, But I mean, people like Joe Lubin are going around saying that they're going to do like 4 more token sales, ICOs this year, and stuff like that. It really upsets me that people still think this is a good idea. Really, it's greed by a lot of these founders that don't want to dilute any of their shares, but still get money essentially for free from a gullible public. But this gullible public is starting to wise up now, and they're not going to give away money quite as easily. That said, there's an argument to be made about suckers being born every minute and so on. But hopefully people learn and do the right thing. Anyway, hope that helps you. This song.